Coming up next, 7 employee benefits that are dumb, and then a horrible boss that watches her staff via camera. A divorce attorney reveals the top professions men need to avoid in a spouse, and I coach you up. Let's go. Helping you win at work and life. This is the Ken Coleman Show. I'm Ken. Let's get right to it. 7 employee benefits that are dumb, and this is only 7. There are innumerable amount of benefits that are dumb, and we'll unpack that here shortly. Now, I'm going to pull from an article. I frequent Forbes, Fortune, Fast Company, Inc., Entrepreneur Magazine, The Wall Street Journal. I mean, folks, I'm a man of the people, so I'm reading all the time. The team is reading all the time. We're gathering stories that we think you need to know about. And so this is one where I thought, okay, this is good because I think it helps prove a bigger point as it relates to engagement and the type of place you want to work in. Now, I also am aware that I have people from all walks of life that watch and listen to this show. So there is a leadership lesson here too. So I like these kind of points to make where I can help leaders and then I can help workers. All right? Because here's what I know. Those of you who aren't considering yourself a leader right now, you're not in a leadership position, but you want to move up, I got news for you. When you move up, you will move into a leadership role. So this is applicable to you, maybe not as a leader now, but a leader in the next. So here we go. Unlimited paid time off. This is a new thing, relatively new benefit that kind of got a little bit of lift during the pandemic or post-pandemic because let's just be honest right now, companies are on an all-out war just to attract people to apply and then, of course, hire or to keep people. So you've got companies that are acting desperate, and this unlimited paid time off smacks of desperation. And I'll explain. It's a nice sentiment, but who's going to actually take unlimited? Unlimited paid time off is literally there's no limit. So you could by the letter of the law go, well, I'm going to work 2 weeks this year, and I'm going to take the rest of the 50 off. And your leader goes, I'm sorry. You go, well, you said we got unlimited time off. Well, I mean, you got to get your job done. Yeah, I know, but I'm fairly certain I can get my job. Yeah, but think how ridiculous this conversation is. I got to stop it. It's making me feel uncomfortable. It's so ridiculous, but this is what's going on. So nobody's going to actually take unlimited time off or they'd get fired. So why offer something that nobody's going to take? Because see, that's a catch offer. Unlimited paid time off. Now you got to get your work done though. And I don't think you can get your work done when you take off 6 weeks. Let's be a little bit more moderate in our example. Somebody taking 6 weeks off. Well, they could fight you on that. Stupid. Next, luxury items like massage chairs in the break room, ping pong tables, foosball tables. Now, some of you are going, geez, Ken, lighten up. No, hear what I'm saying. Those are all fine and dandy. But when those are considered to be benefits and you're asking your team to say, you know what, this is something we are doing to benefit you, it's meaningless. It wears off quickly. That's about a 2-week high. It's not good. I'm going to unpack all this in a second. All right. Constant access to free food is next. Free food everywhere. Yeah, well, I know a guy just walked by. He's like, I like that idea. But that, again, what are we doing? I'll tell you what we're doing. We're having people overeat at the office. Right? Sugar highs. They crash. It's a silly benefit. Next, premature promotions. We see this a lot in the leadership world. They're worried about losing somebody. Feeling pressure over that person not feeling engaged enough, and they're going to promote them before they're ready. Oh. How about fake insurance benefits? Candidly, this was a little bit new to me. This is from the Forbes magazine. But apparently a lot of companies what they mean by fake insurance benefits is they'll offer a benefit and they'll say, hey, this is a new benefit, but it's coming out of your paycheck. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's who defines benefit, right? Next, perks that are only for a select few. A couple examples they laid out were bike share memberships, paid surf breaks. So obviously that's for the surfers only. Smoke breaks, that's smokers only. And extra paid time off to care for pets. So that's for pet owners. So what they're saying here with these benefits, and I'm trying to synthesize this for you folks. The reason that benefit is dumb, and I agree with this, is because not everybody gets that benefit, and it starts to create that you just cannot overlook human psychology. And it just creates comparison, and comparison is not healthy. And by the way, you can't go, well, it's all on them to handle it like adults. No, it isn't, you adults. You're making them. You're literally doing it right in front of them. They can't help but see the difference. Well, we're going to allow 20-minute smoke breaks. Okay, what if you don't smoke? Do you get a talk break? You get a bourbon break? Don't want to leave my bourbon drinkers out. I mean, come on. What you all didn't see for our audience is I'm not going to name anybody, but a couple of our amazing team here behind the glass raised their hands as though a touchdown had been scored when I mentioned the bourbon break. But, you laugh, but that's absolutely spot on. If you're going to offer a smoke break, you got to offer a bourbon break, checkers break, video game break. I mean, it just spirals out of control. All right. Next and last, the benefits that aren't relevant to core values. So in other words, these are activities or perks that are all for show, and they don't have any redeeming value to the team. I mean, perks and benefits are to benefit the workforce. I'll give you an example. This wasn't in the article, but Alex, the producer, told me about this one. This is hysterical. This is a classic example of a benefit that is dumb and it has no redeeming value, except for a couple of people. There is a construction company in Maryland that has a wine bar in the middle of their office. Well, that got Amanda's attention. She said, "Where's that?" But you think about that, right? Like, they're mostly out. They're doing their work out, and there's a wine bar in the middle of the office. So I'll tell you what's going on there. Because it's a construction company, they could build a wine bar, a really nice wine bar for, pennies on the dollar, given all of their expertise and access to materials and blah, 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 blah. So they go, we'll put a really nice wine bar in the middle of our office to try to impress everybody. There's no real benefit. Again, it's back to the whole, well, we got a bunch of wine drinkers. So there you go. All right, now, so here's the problem with the dumb benefits. You ready? The problem is that this is symptom-based leadership. So these are warning signs to those of you that are working at companies like this or may go to work for somebody like this. And for you leaders that are doing this or participating in this is a warning sign. This is symptom-based leadership. It's not source-based leadership. The source of the benefit ought to be in driving value for everyone and making them feel cared for. It doesn't deal with real disengagement. What's the solution? Help people see purpose and meaning in their job, recognize them for their unique contributions, and then develop a mentor-coach relationship with the people you lead. That will drive engagement. That's the real benefit of good leadership.
You were created to fill a unique role in and through your work. Now, some of you may be going, I have no idea what that is. Some of you may be saying, I know what I want to do, but I don't know how to get there. I felt all of those emotions. I've been where you are, and I can tell you, there's hope. That's why I wrote the book, From Paycheck to Purpose. You can make the income you want and the impact that you desire, and I know that you have what it takes.
Welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. Thrilled to have you here. I want to help you make more money and experience more meaning while you're making all that money. That's why we do what we do. How about that? Yeah. All right. So one of the things we love to do here on the show is bring you current events, bring you current data, trends, all designed to prepare you to help you get where you want to go. And so we've got two really juicy items to talk about today. Let's go. It's time for In the News. All right, so the story has gone bananas. Originally, I think it might have appeared on The Sun, thesun.com, but also this kind of went over to Reddit, which is kind of the water cooler out there. And so here it is. This is the headline. Boss divides opinion after putting up a sign with 13 rules for work. Did we find out if this is It is a vegan bakery in Oregon. Now, I could get distracted for a good minute on that one. I'm going to leave it alone because I don't get why we would have a vegan bakery. I don't understand. I need to learn more. That is my homework assignment for myself today. What in the world is vegan baked goods? And heaven's sakes, I'm not interested. Not even a taste. I'm not interested. But anyway. So here's the deal. Vegan bakery in Oregon. Now, for our viewing audience, are we going to throw this on the screen? And then for our listening audience, I'm going to read through this quickly. Here we go. It was 13 rules. Here we go. Anyone who calls out will be wrote up. Now, that means calls basically to say, I'm sick. Anyone who's late will be wrote up. Anyone who isn't doing shift duties will be wrote up. Anyone who isn't doing food will be wrote up. Every shift is to do all shift duties. I will be watching cameras all day, every day. Now, this is where this thing starts to get really bad. This is horrible bossery. Notice, by the way, the 3 exclamation points after every day. I'm watching the cameras all day, every day. All right, now, first of all, no, she isn't. Is it a female manager? I want to make sure I don't misrepresent. Is it a male, female? Do we know? All right, you know what? We'll remove that and just go, no, they aren't. They, whoever this manager is not watching this all day, every day. So that's a lie on top of being outrageous. More on that in a minute. By the way, I've created a new term for this type of leadership. I'll reveal it in moments. Number 6, this is what y'all wanted, and now you got it. No more games. We're not sure what that means. But I could tell you I have a heavy, heavy dose of cynicism on this is what they wanted from you, whoever this leader is. Number 7, if I see on videos or one of my ASMS, I don't know what that means, tells me you wasn't doing shift duties and was stand at the POS, I'm guessing it's point of service, you will be wrote up. Number 8, all cell phones are to be left on desk. No cell phones at POS. This is whatever the name of the company policy is. Number 9, if I see you with your phone at the point of service at any time, you will be wrote up. 10, if you come in out of uniform, you will be asked to go home and change into uniform and return. If you don't, you will be wrote up for not being in uniform. Number 11, if I see you going outside to smoke and you take longer than 10 minutes, you'll be wrote up. Now, I want to pause for a moment. I'm thinking to myself, well, it's very generous. A 10-minute smoke break. Notice there's no bourbon break. It's kind of a recurring theme today. I don't know what's going on. 12, if you text me as a call out, I will not respond to it, and you will be wrote up as a no call, no show. It called a call out, not a text out. Again, there's some good stuff in this. The way it's being handled is all wrong, but, they make a good point. You're supposed to call in sick, not text. I like that. I'm old school. All right. And then if you need a day off, it needs to be put in writing 2 weeks in advance. All right. I see no problem with that one. Okay. So here we go. This is where we finish with the big, big crescendo. This is no game. This is a business, and we're all adults. If you can't follow policy or do the job you applied for, then you need to ask yourself, why are you here? I actually think that's well said. Then we kind of, we don't need to do this one. I'm over the games and trying to be nice. So until you can do your job and follow policy, I will be the mean and hard boss. All right. So this thing went all over Reddit and people were criticizing lots of things about this. I will tell you that what I want to take away from this is not leadership. This is nannyship. This is not leadership. It's nannyship, meaning this leader this horrible leader is treating these folks like children. And no matter what they've done to act like children, you still don't treat them like children. You got to lead them. And as I look back over the list, I mean, there's some stuff in there that, again, I totally get it. But it goes haywire when we start to tell people that we're going to monitor them on video. That's my point. We have videos in our children's rooms while they're trying to nap or sleeping at night because we need to monitor their behavior. We don't need to do this to adults who are treated with respect and are led properly. That's where this thing went nuts. So, the whole, until you do your job, I'll be the mean and hard boss. Let me tell you something. You keep acting like this and you're not going to have anybody to be mean and hard to. That's the whole point there. It's nannyship, not leadership. Okay, transitioning. This is a follow-up post. I don't know how long ago it was, but a couple of weeks ago, we showed a TikTok from a divorce lawyer who she put out a viral TikTok, and she basically said, in my 13 years of being a divorce attorney, these are the professions that I think women should be wary of. As I look at my caseload, there are 5 professions that I think women should be cautious of marrying men that are in those professions. And the thing went bananas, and we shared it on the show. So as a result, a lot of people watched that and said, okay, flip it. As a divorce attorney of 13 years, what are the professions that men should be wary of getting into relationship, marrying a woman who's in this profession? This is her follow-up, and then I'm going to comment on it. Let's roll it.
I went through my case list, and there's about 60 cases on my case list. And there are some common professions that I see in women. The most common one that I see is teacher. The second most common is nurse. But those cases are not cases where the female is really difficult or litigious or anything like that. They're just kind of run-of-the-mill cases. The most common profession that I see in the female parties in my divorces, and this is over 13 years of cases. Oh my God, I'm so nervous, is stay-at-home mom. Hate me. I know y'all are going to hate me, but let me explain why. Number one, when you're divorcing a stay-at-home mom, they are paralyzed with fear. And rightfully so, because their whole life is going to change. They are going to have to go back to the workforce. They're going to have to possibly move. Their finances are about to be very different. There's lots of things that they don't know financially about what's going on. And so they tend to stick their head in the sand and stall. And so the cases become very contested and very expensive. The second reason that I see that stay-at-home moms end up being the most common profession in a divorce is that I think there's a tendency, and this is completely my opinion, just based on my observations, they tend to focus so much on the children, and the husband focuses so much on career that first of all, they don't feel appreciated by one another. But the husband starts feeling like an ATM, and the wife becomes completely focused on the children.
Okay, so the reason I show you this video is not because A, I agree with her, or B, that you're supposed to take anything anecdotally away from what she said. But I do want you to hear this, because what she is, and she kind of started with, well, if you were to marry a stay-at-home mom or if your wife's a stay-at-home mom and then divorce happens, it's like, what are we doing here? We're like conceding defeat. But here's what I want to focus on. I think she did say something that is very interesting, and she said that husbands feel like that they're an ATM because they go work, and then the wives feel underappreciated because they're at home with the kids and they're all about the kids. And the issue is resentment. Resentment is a relationship killer. If you're on a budget, agreed upon budget, and guys, you're wooing your wife, this resentment won't build. Think about it. Are you wondering if you should leave your current job or stay put? Well, you're not alone. That's why we created the Should I Quit My Job quiz. In just 5 minutes or less, this quiz will help you determine if you're at the right company and if you're in the right role. And if you need to make a move, you'll get practical steps to keep you moving forward. Folks, it's time to get unstuck. Life is too short not to do what you were created to do. Go take the quiz right now at kencoleman.com/quiz. All right, folks, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show, helping you win at work and in life. So glad you're with us. Let's go to Jennifer in Park City, Utah for a little coaching session. Jennifer, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet. What's up?
So my husband works in college athletics, and he has been trying to get promoted to a coaching position for a few years now. He's been recommended by his references for open positions at various teams a bunch of times, but he's not getting the calls to come in and interview. I'm more of the go get it kind of person, and he's more of the let the references, do the work for him and hopefully get a call back. But it's not working.
Right.
So what should he do? And how can I help encourage maybe a little bit more of a go get it kind of attitude?
Yeah. Okay. Couple things here. Just tactically, I want to go back to what you said. So he's had opportunities to interview for coaching positions, but he's relied just on the initial references in his resume and does no follow-up. Is that what I heard you say?
Not quite. So coaches will ask his references, hey, do you have a guy that you'd recommend for an open position that I have? And they'll throw his name in the hat, talk really good about him, all the good things that he does. But then these coaches aren't calling him back to come in for an interview.
Oh, he's not even getting interviews.
Yeah, he's not even getting an interview.
Okay. Well, is he a current coach right now, or is he in a support position?
Support position.
Okay. Can I ask what sport? You don't have to tell me anything else, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's football.
Okay. So he's yet to break into the coaching ranks, and that's probably one of the challenges. And so, it's like it's a question of what is he getting recommended for? Is he getting recommended for D1 stuff, so pretty high up the ladder?
It's a bit of both, some D1 and D2 schools.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will tell you this. College sports, professional sports are more political than actual politics.
Yes.
And the reason I say that is because in politics, voters actually vote, right? In professional and college sports, there's no voting going on. It's all appointments, right? And so it's even more political because it's such a small amount of people make these decisions. So there's no question he has to be very aggressive to get hired. There's no question about it. So he's clearly done some good things, and he's got, sounds like a pretty solid network to where they're actually calling saying, hey man, you interested? And he says, yeah. And then they'll go, all right, I'll put in a good word. And it's just not going anywhere from there. And so what we've done, what he's doing is he's putting all of his eggs in the basket of somebody saying nice things about him. But the challenge with that thinking is that everybody else that he's competing with is also getting similar nice things said about them. And the other challenge is he might be competing against people who actually have some coaching experience where he's been in a support role. So he's got to work extra hard, and you've identified that. But he's got to decide to do that. He has to decide, I'm going to work really hard, and I'm going to, take the proximity principle. By the way, I'm going to give you a copy of that book, my number one best-selling book, because it's all about the art of connections, and I want him to read it and do it, okay? And I'm going to give that to you to hopefully spur him on. But I also encourage you to have him watch this coaching session for you on YouTube, because I want him to watch and hear what I'm saying about him. And so he has to answer the question for himself, not for you. Because you've got this really tough situation where you want the best for him and you're his number one fan, cheerleader, all the things. But the more you kind of encourage him, it turns into not nagging in the way you're doing it, but it's kind of like it's like nudging him in an area that he's not willing to move.
Yeah, and it does feel like sometimes I feel like I'm nagging, and 100%. I'm not trying.
You're not at all. You're not at all. But you know what it is? It's the equivalent of me sitting on the couch right now. I'm trying to think of a simple example, right? And I have a toddler or something, and I'm reading something. I'm really engrossed in it. And I got a toddler pushing my shoulder going, Dad. And he's not really moving me. And I don't want to lift my head up from the book because I'm so engrossed in it, but I know that the kid needs my attention. It's that kind of a little irritant, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing anything wrong, but he's not willing to move.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have to have him ask himself, what is he afraid of? Or what does he doubt? So let me break this down for you and for him. So we have to figure out what's holding him back. And it's either fear or doubt or pride. I'll run through all three of these enemies of progress very quickly. Number one, fear is based on I'm afraid that something bad is going to happen. In this case for him, I'm afraid that I'm going to put myself out there. I'll go through the interview process and I'm going to get my heart broken. I'm going to get rejected. Okay? That's an example of a fear. I'm afraid of something bad happening. The doubt is different. Doubt is I don't think something good can happen. Do you see the difference?
Okay.
But both fear and doubt are him not being willing to face some pain of rejection. Because no is a form of rejection, isn't it?
Yes.
You bet. So what's going on in his world, in his life, in his background, and helping him, if you can, see that what's holding him back is fear or doubt or maybe both. Pride is another one. And pride maybe, I don't want to ask for help. I don't want to call up all those guys who are willing to put in a good word for him and say, hey, will you connect me over the phone with this coach? Will you set up a coffee? I'm going to be in town next month. Asking people to help you. A lot of people have too much pride. They go, I don't want to look like I'm helpless. So it's one of those three things, if not a combination of all three. So you have to understand as a wife, you're in this weird position where you don't want to nag, but to the extent that you can have conversations about him and his future, and it's not you suggesting, it's not you connecting, it's not you doing anything other than just learning what's going on in his head. Because I don't think your husband's lazy. I think he's lost.
Oh, no. Yeah. I would agree.
So you have to have a lot of sympathy and empathy here because he's lost. The question is, why is he lost? And what he has to do is what I'm going to give you in the book. That's the easy answer. The more complete answer. The short answer for you today as to what he has to do is he has to start connecting like his life depends on it. Like conversations, real life conversations, not sending out a bunch of emails, but real life conversations, going to every coaches association meeting he can go to, whatever the football world gathers around. He's talking to everybody he knows in his current program, other programs. See, he's really connected. I think he's more connected than he probably realizes. Would you agree with that statement?
Yes, I would agree.
Well,
he has really good connections.
Right. So when I got into it from a radio standpoint, I had no radio experience and I needed somebody to give me a shot. So I literally went in one day, Jennifer, and I looked at everybody I knew in my computer database of my contacts. And I came across somebody that I remember talking to one time who said her family was in radio. And I know that I had helped her recently. So I called her up and I said, hey, can I touch base with you real quick? She said, yeah, what's up? I said, I remember you saying your family was in radio, and I've been trying to get anybody in radio to pay attention to me. I'm willing to pay my way on. And she said, who have you contacted? And I told her, she goes, that's my family radio station. She said, I'll get you a meeting with my brother. He's the owner. I'll get a meeting before the week's out. And she did. And I got my chance. And so it's a function of talking to anybody and everybody to say, hey, I want to move from support role to coaching. I've been around these programs. This is my bona fides, my resume. This is what I've done. This is what my strengths are. This is what I could really be good at. And you know what? It also might be you two sitting down and going, and you giving him permission to maybe take a step backwards.
Okay.
If you got to sell your house, cut your expenses. I mean, at some point in the coaching world, you may have to go backwards to go forward. So what sacrifices are you two willing to make? That might be a good place to start. Say, hey, babe, I'm willing to do just about anything that's not detrimental to our marriage and our family and our finances, but sacrifices, I'm in. What can we do to give you a chance to get in? I think I'd start there. According to Glassdoor, the average job offer attracts over 250 applicants. So if you've made it to the interview, you've already made a great impression. So now is your time to showcase how you are the best choice for this role. That's why we created How to Win the Interview. This free guide will walk you through the 5 strategies to help you stand out amongst the competition. With just a little intentionality, you can prepare yourself to win the interview. To get it, go to kencoleman.com/interview. All right, folks, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. We're in our coaching session of the show, but I always love to see what's going on in the live chat room for those that are watching on YouTube. And Zippity Doodah is one of our users today, and he said, we were talking about dumb benefits to start the show, like benefits that are meaningless. And he said, I worked at the Hershey Company, and there was free candy everywhere. And I'll be honest with you, Zippity Doodah, I had to check myself. Because at first I was like, well, that's kind of one of those food everywhere sacks and meaningless. And I had to check myself. I was like, boy, I tell you what, man, I like me some M&Ms. I've been to the M&M store in Times Square many, many times when I go up there and do media. I love it. I always go get some M&Ms for my kids because they have more M&Ms than you've ever seen in your life, types of M&Ms. And they got those big levers, where you put a plastic bag under and just goes nuts. So, he goes on to say, I gained a bunch of weight in my first year, and then I basically stopped eating. So there you go. Got to be careful. And Gary Spratt, super listener, we were making fun of the silly smoke breaks as a benefit when not everybody smokes. And I said, what about the bourbon break? You got to include everybody. Gary wants to point out that in some states you might need to have a marijuana break as well. So there you go. Thank you, Gary. Trying to represent everybody there. Carlos is up next in Phoenix, Arizona. Carlos, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. How you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
You bet, Carlos. What's happening today?
I got a quick question. So I work for my employer. I'm a diesel mechanic. I make roughly around $95,000 a year, which in the industry that I'm in is kind of like on the topper end of making the money. I've been working for my boss for about 11 years, 12 years. I did leave for 2 years because I was a little bit younger and wanted to just try something new. I did come back. When I did put my 2 weeks, he just let me go right on the spot. I picked up my toolbox and took off. After 2 years, went back. Now, fast forward to present day. With the inflation going on and stuff, I did end up over the years becoming really good friends with my boss. We go camping together. We get our families together every now and then. Well, now with the inflation, I haven't really received any significant raise. I got $1 last year, and I got $1 at the beginning of this year extra, which is, it's something, but not much.
Okay.
Now, with my boss being a friend now, how do I go about asking for a significant raise? Or did I make a mistake by making friendships with him?
No. You don't make...
So that's that.
No.
Yeah.
I think what's going on with that friendship thing is you're afraid to leave for something better because you feel like you're being a bad friend because you're actually a good dude.
That's exactly. I feel really bad, but I see there's so many jobs hiring with, way more money, a lot more benefits. I do love what I do.
Well, okay, so hold on. Can you do what you love at some of these other places that are already offering the big bumps and better benefits?
I believe so. I guess the fear is, is the grass greener on the other side after a few years?
Well, wait a second, though. The way we figure that out is you go do your homework on those places. You talk to guys and gals that are working in those places and find out what the culture's like.
Okay.
They're going to tell you. Am I right?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Listen, the grass is greener fear is real when we don't do any research and investigate what the culture of the company that we might be interested in is like. But if we go do the research and figure it out that they treat people pretty well and they develop people and they promote people and there's an opportunity for a ladder for you, then ding, 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 there's nothing to be afraid of. And by the way, your other fear that's holding you back is you're afraid that you're going to lose a friend. And that can't be a fear because that's not your decision. If
Okay.
your current boss never talks to you again and calls you a jerk because you decided to leave for a better opportunity for your life, was he a friend?
That is very true. Yeah, no, that is very true.
So if he's
I
a
guess-
real friend, he's going to be sad that he doesn't get to see you as much and work with you, but he's going to be happy for your life. Isn't that true as well?
that is
now-
very true.
To answer your other question very quickly, because I'm running out of time, you were asking, how do I ask for a significant raise? I don't like asking for raises because it puts your friend, your boss, in a very defensive posture. I don't think that he's got it, or he would have probably given it to you based on what I'm hearing. $1 here, $1 there is what he can do. So I don't think the significant raise is your issue. I think your ladder for a better life is what you need to be focusing on. Go do your research and then make a right decision.
Do you know what you were born to do? In order to get hired at a job you love, you need to get clear on your talent, passion, and mission. That's why our team created the Career Clarity Guide. In just a few minutes, this free tool will walk you through a process to discover what you do best: talent, the work you love to do, passion, and the results you want your work to produce. That's mission. Then you're going to feel way more confident throughout the job search process. To get started, go now to kencoleman.com/clarity.
Welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. We opened up today's show by talking about 7 dumb benefits. Benefits that are dumb because they're not really for everybody and they're really not about valuing anybody. It's just kind of we're going to try to do a pizza party once a month because we work you people like animals, right? That's not a benefit. So the chat room, you folks are hysterical. They're hilarious. People watching live right now. So now they're hypothesizing about what kind of a place would Ken work at where the benefit would be like this. And one guy said, let's see, Grant said, imagine Ken working at the Tostito plant. Lots of chips and salsa breaks. Let me tell you something. If I worked at the Tostitos plant, I would weigh 750 pounds because that's just bad carbs and a lot of salt. And you'd have to roll me in and roll me out. Woo! And then somebody said, how about a cigar shop? Boy, that would be terrible. I would literally inside of a month be like this. Hello, everybody. I'd be George Burns. Some people like are in their 30s and younger going, who's George Burns? Nathan, do you know who George Burns is? Not at all? Good heavens. Oh, I'm getting older and older, folks. I can feel it right now. Look him up, George Burns. George Burns, legendary actor, comedian, always had a cigar in his mouth. All right, let's talk about the job search. The job search can suck even if you're excited. In fact, because you're excited, it can suck. You're excited about a better future, but then you run into long, lonely hours of frustration and rejection, not getting noticed, getting ghosted, all those things. So nobody wants that. That's why I endorse ZipRecruiter. Their artificial intelligence does so much of the yucky stuff for you. You save time because they are sending you jobs that you can apply to with one click. They're also out there actively pitching your profile, which already has your resume there, to employers, and they let you know if an employer wants to interview you. So you're going to stand out because they're pitching you. So sign up for free at ZipRecruiter.com. Feel the love, not the frustration. Go to ZipRecruiter.com. All right, let's get to the phones. Adrian is on the line in Dallas, Texas. Adrian, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. What's going on?
So I read your book. I'm working on my dream job, working towards getting there. But it's not a real job, and there's no clear way to get there.
Okay, hold on.
So
hold on. What is it, and why is that not a real job? Tell me.
So I make money on day trading, but to do that as a business is not
No.
I mean,
that's not a day
thing.
job. That's not a, you're right. Okay. I got to tell you, I didn't expect you to be correct on that, but you're right. That is not a real job. That is a expensive and risky hobby.
So
what's your question?
My purpose is to multiply wealth for people, and I've made my list. I met with professionals like financial advisors that I know, and they told me that being a financial advisor is not going to help me with my purpose to multiply wealth.
Why?
So, because being a financial advisor, I was told, is to manage people's money and not multiply their money.
Who told you this?
Different financial advisors that I talked to, because...
So wait a second, let me get this right. You want to be a financial advisor to help people invest their money for retirement, for dreams, and you went and talked to financial advisors and they said, what we do doesn't help people multiply their wealth. That's what they told you.
So with like this series 65, for example, you can only sell financial products. So you're investing money, but you're not essentially multiplying it.
Yeah, but
we're
learned. Playing semantics, number one. Okay? Financial advisors do help people multiply their money over time. They do. That's a simple fact. You and I both know that. True or false?
Okay.
But you don't want to get into selling a product. I agree. At Ramsey Solutions, we don't endorse people that are selling a financial product as an investment gimmick or tool. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just believe in good old-fashioned advising. So if I were to sit down, if my wife and I sat down with you this afternoon and we said, Adrian, we really believe you know what you're doing, and you weren't selling me a product, a platform by which you're just going to sit down with me and go, okay, let's look at our long-term goals. Would you or would you not be able to advise us? And if we did what you told us to do, we would have a good chance at multiplying our money over the next 20, 30 years. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
I asked you a direct question. Did you understand it?
No, sorry. Can you explain that again?
If you were not selling a product as an advisor and you were just advising me and my wife, and I said, here's what we're going to invest every month, every year, would you not be able to give us advice to where we could multiply our money over the next 20 to 30 years through just normal investments in mutual funds?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay, then. So you're getting bad advice or you're asking the question the wrong way. I'm not quite sure what's going on.
Okay.
But stocks, telling people to invest in stocks and stuff and hitting big, if that's what you define as multiplying, well, again, you can go do that. That's being a stockbroker and playing that game. But if you want to be a financial advisor, it all depends on how we define the word multiplying. Okay? So if I give you $10,000 a year and you invest that for me as my advisor and I get a 12% return on that over 30 years, I call that multiplying. Yeah. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, then. So I don't know what's going on, but day trading, you're right. That's not a job. So if you want to be a financial advisor, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to RamseySolutions.com after this call. And in the Dallas, Texas area, there's going to be who knows how many what we call SmartVestor Pros. You can search SmartVestor Pros at RamseySolutions.com. And these are men and women who believe what we believe. They have the heart of the teacher. They're not playing stocks and bonds. It's mutual funds. It's a tried and true strategy that Dave endorsed for years, and we still endorse because it works. And sit down and talk with one of them. Because if you want to advise people to invest their money wisely and win in the end, that's financial advising. And you can help them multiply. Get that word out of your vocabulary if you're going to keep getting it confused. Okay? But I think we got you on the right page now, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, man. I don't know who you were listening to. I'd stop listening to them. The idea that you talk to multiple financial advisors and they said, now, if you want to help people multiply their money, you don't want to be doing what I'm doing. What? Yeah. Listen, I am a self-admitted word nerd. Now, what do I mean by that? I love words. I love words for lots of reasons, but the primary reason is that words give us clarity because they should actually mean something, right? But we live in a day and age, and I'm not going to open up this can of worms, where one word means something to somebody else, and it's like, no, this is what the word means. And I'll tell you what else is going on here. We got too much thinking going on. I see this all over the place, but I got to tell you something. It's really big with young people, and it's a nature of the maturing process. So this is not banging on Gen Z or millennials. This is a human thing when we're younger. If we don't get our hands dirty and start doing and trying and exploring and failing, let me say that again. Trying, exploring, failing, learning, trying, exploring, learning, failing. Listen, that ought to be like your entire mindset when you're young. Those 4 things. You want to talk about investing in yourself? How about that? Those are 4 areas to invest a lot of your time. Trying, failing, learning, exploring. You know what's happening there? Ain't a whole lot of thinking going on. There's a lot of doing, and it is in the doing where we learn, and then we can apply. All right, I got to get out of here. You matter. You have what it takes. Press on.
Thanks for listening to The Ken Coleman Show. For more, you can find the show on demand wherever you listen to podcasts and watch the show on YouTube. You can also find Ken across all social media by following @Ken Coleman.